Blank Esports.
I'm glad a Kraken's not on Kraken.
I'm actually kind of disappointed. But I think for Blank Esports, what this is going to mean is that we will get to see them run dive again. Goats, again, you love to see it. Do you? I don't know. But for Blank, what I really like to see is I do like to see Roro with the Dragon Blade and Tails on the Sombra.
Well, he gets the buff right because it's a Dragon Egg.
Yeah, I suppose so. But for Blank Esports, yeah, there's a lot of high ground on that first point, so a lot of extra mobility is kind of nice.
Tails is just stalking behind them.
He's getting the info. He'll try and get the hack here on the Reinhardt or the Diva. He gets it onto the Diva, so now here comes the dive in from Blank.
Yeah, Roro pushing through as well, throwing out the shuriken, seeing what he can find, but they're going to walk straight on to the point, at least for now, looking to find at least that 1/3 tick, that first tick. Looking for it, there it is, still 4 on the point, halfway through. Everything counts from here, doing what they can.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, this has not worked out the way that Blank wanted it to. They need to get the pick before the cap starts to get attacked by Kraken. Right now, Kraken is fighting in their home territory. They want to fight in these enclosed spaces. Kraken is going to have to finally give it a go. Or rather, Blank Esports is going to have to finally give it a go.
Yeah,
Kraken have been going at it for the last 20 seconds.
It's a Kraken for Kraken. Kraken, a Kraken for Kraken.
Couldn't have worked out better for Kraken there.
7 minutes, Jordan. 7 minutes now for point B.
Could be a little bit more difficult than that first point. Look at this. EMP is available. Dragon Blade is available. Primal Rage here. Blank have a little bit more to play with. There's the EMP.
EMP into Roro's Dragon Blade. Pushing through. Wuvo down. Finds a second lever. QVN all picked up. Easily done. Finds 4. Someone go and nerf Roro, please.
That's pretty nice indeed. Crimson Wolf here will be staggered by the Blank roster. So that is
very slowly staggered.
Oh, no, does actually get the mech back. So they weren't quick enough to clean that one up and got maybe a little bit too greedy, trying to stagger a little bit too long.
Look at this, 4 ultimates now sitting here for Blank. Kraken have 3, soon to be 4 for them as well. Well, soon to be 5 and 6.
Nicely done from Blank to only use the 2 ultimates. This leaves them a little bit to play with. Self-destruct won't connect anything.
Going to use the Primal Rage here on the point, trying to push everyone back. QVN the first one to go down. That's through Roro again. Like Brill going to picked up there as well. And Roro is just dirty sometimes. Just dirty.
That's not a very nice way to talk about my friend Roro. Tung and Kura. Not even having to throw the ultimates in there, so it's just the tank ults coming out this time from Blank. But once more, Kraken, they don't throw anything in there. Look at this, 6 ultimates available. This is Goat's comp at its finest. Kraken, if they can't push through with this, then they aren't going to be able to push through. That said, though, there's an EMP for Tails, and it might shut it down before it even begins.
Man, it literally only takes 1 EMP to ruin an entire push. Let's see what Tails is going to do. We're going to follow him out here, ready to go. Throws it out. What a huge EMP. Roro again on the Dragon Blade, pushing through, but it's Legabril going to find the better of the Genji right now. Crimson Wolf finds one as well. Legabril gets a second. That's Noz going down. You can see the Kraken have thrown out all bar 1 of their ultimates.
There is Noz with the self-destruct, still at 50%. Roro starting to get a little bit worried now as he does swap over onto the Mei. A hack does come across. I'm not sure who that actually was on. In the end, Kraken aren't really going to be able to push through here. It looked like it was a good fight, but now Tails has managed to get himself in a good position. Again, up to an EMP available for this next fight. I thought Tails, as soon as he got that EMP off, and the Dragon Blade came out from Roro, that the fight was going to be over, but then they didn't get the kills. And then Kraken kind of started to fight their way back into it, but a little bit too slow, unable to find the picks that they need. And again, they're going to have to be going up against an EMP. And I said if they weren't able to get it done with those 6 ults, they were never going to be able to get it done. Maybe that is going to be the case now. 4 minutes and 20 seconds
Changed it up.
left.
No Reinhardt available now for Kraken. Going to get Legabril over on to the Winston instead. You can see Nellery hanging up above them as well.
Weaver's hacked.
Yeah, and the EMP's here.
They don't need it.
It's just very, very tough right now for Kraken. They're going to have to push in, try and hold all of their ultimates if they can, and do as much damage, bait as much out as they can from Blank.
Oh, man, you're such
Blank is hitting very high. Nellery not going to use that Primal Rage right now. Goes down.
So
not needed.
Tung was the only one that threw an ult out there? I don't even know if he did. I think that might have been in the last fight. I don't think that there was any ults from Blank.
They had faith, Jordan.
In the end, Kraken just split themselves a little bit too much there. Wuvo got caught off on his own, frozen by the Mei, hacked by Tails, rather, I should say. And once that has all gone on to you, there's not really a whole lot that you can do. Kraken going to give it another attempt, but Tails is still waiting with his EMP, and here it is.
EMP once again. Tails, somebody stop this guy. It is insane. Dench, Wuvo, both down. Kraken stopped in their tracks. Going to have to reset and try once again. I think they're waiting, perhaps, Jordan, for this 6th stack of ultimates they're going to have it this time. They started at 7 minutes, 3 remain.
Roro wants to swap off. He's going to go on to the Farah, actually. Something that we did see from him a little bit in Season 2. And fairly adept at that.
This is the one, Jordan. This is the one that Kraken wins.
Is that so? Well, we shall see. How are they going to deal with the Farah? I ask you, Ben. If he doesn't get caught by the Graviton Surge, then maybe the Coalescence for Leverett or Crimson Wolf on the Diva, that'll be their go-to. Here's a self-destruct in response from Blank.
Doesn't find anyone. QVN's thrown out the rally as well. Everyone's still alive. Nellery is low. Goes down to a self-destruct from Crimson Wolf. As you said, who can deal with Roro? Up above has that Pocket Mercy as well. 45% on the ultimate. Nellery gets resurrected there by Kura. Picks him back up. Blank back up to 6 players. And now only one ultimate available here for Kraken, Jordan.
Yeah, and it's looking very, very good for Blank as well. Roro completely untouched here, missing a few rockets there. Up to the rocket barrage, though, but he's immediately deleted by Legabrill. That's a huge play, and it might actually be enough for Kraken to cap this point out. There is going to be some stagger in here from Nellery, trying to hold off longer and longer, but it is not going to last for Blank at all. Inevitably, Kraken will cap out.
They're getting very, very close, 95.3%. Well, you can see the Wrecking Ball going to roll off the point, not as much that Tung could have done. And as is always the case here in Contenders Australia, as soon as you go and use the Farah ultimate, the Rocket Barrage, you die.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I don't know about the Farah, the new Farah. Like, it just feels so punishing when you miss or just slightly miss a shot. That's the real problem with her at the moment, is like if you don't have almost 100% accuracy, you kind of feel like you're not doing a whole lot. In the end, a very good hold, though, from Blank Esports. Kraken with only a minute and 42 when they started with 7 minutes. There was a couple of pushes there that Blank was able to hold off against what was 6 ultimates available. Obviously, Tails with the EMPs. Really huge part of the success there for Blank. Looking at the composition right now for Blank, I do hope we get to see this Wrecking Ball, one of my favorite characters in the game. But I don't know how long that will actually end up being a thing, if he's going to jump straight back onto the Wisdom, which would be maybe a little bit more likely, a little bit more easy to make work than the Wrecking Ball. The engages with Wrecking Ball are very strong, but they are sometimes a little bit more difficult to hit than Winston. You don't have to just press shift and land on top of a bunch of people. You kind of have to get the swing correct, and then you have to get the timing correct on your ground pound as well.
Yeah, the swing is definitely a key part of this, but look at this, easy. Clearly has the swing down pat, particularly at this level of play, but alas, it is not the case, Jordan.
Feels sad.
Yeah, feels bad, feels sad, man. What can Blank do? Kraken were very fast on point A, a lot slower on point B.
It's dive again out here for Blank. It took them a little while to get it working on Hollywood up against the Orisa. Initially, the halt was too strong. That may be the case again here, but once the ultimates do persist here for Blank, that's where the problem really starts to arise for Kraken. It's a race to who can get the ults first.
Gonna try and hold the high ground for now. See, someone's just walked onto the point. Whether Kraken will turn around and deal with it or not, we'll have to wait and see. The answer is no, because 3 very quick kills coming in the favor of Blank. Only Nellery goes down for now. Legabrill gonna get found out. That leaves Crimson Wolf and Leverett. I don't think it's going to be enough. They should be able to find the point. The hack comes through as well. Nice
Lucio can't get out of there at all. If Lucio gets hacked, like, he literally can't do anything. Like, he's just a guy. You know, he doesn't have abilities.
You can pick his music, right? Like, if you have control of his PC, then you can pick his tune.
Well, you just turn it off, right?
Would you turn it off, or would you play something he doesn't like?
If he's on the other team, you'd definitely be turning it off.
What if you play something that you like? Like, you'd play K-pop, for example.
I guess.
Yeah, exactly. See? So, onto point B, very quickly they move across about the same amount of time that Kraken had to work with. Roro
oh dear.
going to get buffed up by the looks of things, trying to push through.
Yeah, he was expecting to have the Dragon Blade available, but didn't quite get it off in time. Here it comes, though, and Roro will continue his merry way through the Kraken roster as he slices around, but not getting too much value out of that one. Has to back away because of the self-destruct. An unfortunate fight there for Blank. Timing just a little bit off there from Tongue with the nano boost, and Roro unable to get the finishing kill on Legabrill quickly enough to get a real considerable reset that would have allowed him to build the ult charge up in time.
Yeah, a little bit premature on the nano boost, unfortunately, but I suspect with 5 minutes 50 they're going to get a second shot. Tails looked like he was going to try and throw out that EMP, but gets found out by Legabrill a little bit earlier. Going to have to wait and try this one again. But we saw how impactful this EMP is, and that's when they were on defense and they had to keep fighting over and over. They only need to win one fight here, Jordan, and this might be the one.
Maybe indeed. The Dragon Blade now coming out from Wuvo, and unfortunately for now, not having too much of an impact. Eventually does get the reset. Roro versus Genji. It's Genji on Genji action, something for all the weebs out there. But in the end, it is going to be a fairly strong hold for Kraken.
Nice work. Precisely what Kraken need to be doing. Still 5 minutes for them to work with. 5 minutes for them to hold this second point. They leave too much. You'd expect that Blank should be able to take this in the next 5 minutes. The question is, how long can Kraken hold on for? You can take a look at Blank. You can take a look at what they've got in terms of their ultimate charge. 3, almost 4 available because Roro will get his very quickly. Same with Tails.
Oh, Wuvo starting to charge his up as well. Another attempt here from Blank, but it's not a committed attempt just yet. They're waiting for those ultimates to come up. Roro's at 94%. That's what they need to really be able to punch through, but having lost Tails, we're looking for that EMP Dragon Blade combo out here from Blank. I don't want to see Roro invested in here. It's going to be the nano boost onto Legabrill there. That will be enough to force away Blank, but it doesn't really matter. Blank were backing off anyway.
For some reason, Nellery went out and used the Primal Rage as well. So I don't know if he's going to change or it was just, again, something needed to do to try and stay alive. But the end result is that they have one less ultimate for this next fight. 4 minutes on the clock. Kraken doing a decent job. QVN, he will have his own EMP available
it's
shortly.
who can get the EMP off first in this fight. Really, time is of the essence for Tails.
Dragon Blade. This time the boost won't come prematurely. Right on time for Roro. Wuvo's down, Dench down, Legabrill down. This could be enough. You can see the EMP will come through.
Yeah, EMP comes through, but it's too little too late.
Yeah.
Roro's going to finish off Crimson Wolf after the self-destruct. He's having a whale of a time right now. Dashing away through the entire roster of Kraken. Tails is still hanging on to the EMP, so when this fight does ensue again, when the trickle comes out, that is going to be Blank Esports firing it off, and for now, it looks like Blank will cap this out, as it is now just an attempt from Kraken to buy as much time as possible.
Yeah, look, the sound barrier going to work for both teams for now, but it only stalls it a little bit longer. At least Kraken do have that spawn advantage. They're going to need it, Jordan. They've lost 2 already. Crimson Wolf, he's the 3rd. Roro going to find that frag. Well, that should be it. The Dragon Blade to secure the remaining kills. And with about 2 minutes 55 on the clock, Blank will be successful onto point B. It's about 1 minute and 10 longer than their opponents.
Yeah, that's always good to see. But many times I've had a time advantage on Horizon Lunar Colony and things have shifted very quickly. So it is one of those maps that can really bite you in the butt a little bit if things aren't going too well initially. Minimum 42 should be enough to cap out the first point here for Kraken. But anything beyond that is really a bonus. If you can even get a tick onto second or a couple of ticks on second, that is very, very successful attack in my eyes.
Do you think that a space bar on the moon should be called an earth bar?
Yes.
Cool. Can we patch that in, please? Thanks.
Also,
Pixie.
do you think that the Earth would be that big from the moon? Because I don't.
Well, I don't know. I would assume that they have based this off what it looks like.
But have you not seen pictures from the moon and the Earth looks a lot smaller?
No one's even been to the moon, Jordan. What are you talking about?
Are you a conspiracy theorist?
No, not really. I don't think the Earth looks that smaller. I don't know.
I don't think the Earth looks that big.
Having never been there myself.
Well, yeah, look, we'd have to... I don't know, Blizzard. Maybe you could just send me and Ben to the moon and we'll we'll know. Do some research.
Oh, yeah. Overwatch Contenders Australia Season 3 finals confirmed on the moon.
On the moon.
Confirmed.
We'll see you there.
We've got to go now.
You have to bring your own oxygen.
Well, Kraken on attack, Blank on defense. Sometimes the second time around is a lot quicker than the first, Jordan.
Ooh.
We'll see if that is the case right here. But it's Roro straight away onto the Farah, already up to 50%. Legabril, the first one down. That one going over to Tang. They're onto the point. That's a half-decent start. We'll see whether Blank can follow this one up or whether Kraken will be able to get it across the line and continue on to point B.
I don't know that they will, Ben, especially with Roro up to 87% of this Rocket Barrage. They are all grouping up, and they need to be very careful. Here comes the Rocket Barrage. Dench will drop early. Crimson Wolf trying to hold off as long as he can with the defense matrix, but inevitably will lose the mech as well, and that is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. That's the waterfall of kills now for Blank Esports as they hold strong on first.
They will indeed, and that leaves Kraken with, well, probably 30 seconds once they get onto the point. It's probably one fight here, Jordan, that they've got in their hands, short of someone dying early and coming back across. See how they go. If you take a look at the ultimates, certainly in favor of Blank. Both Nellery, Tung, Kura all ready to go. Dench, the first one down. That support is out. This is definitely less than ideal from Kraken. Blank surely going to hold strong.
Not to mention there is still an EMP available here for Tails. Kraken, they're in a bit of a difficult position now with the EMP being thrown out there by Tails. Roro just trying to finish off QVN here. That should be that. I was going to say maybe there was a chance for Kraken to kind of hold on and allow the respawners to come back in, but inevitably they will for Roro throwing up the wall of rockets. No one was going to get there anyway.
Almost a barrage of rockets.
Yeah.
I guess we should have, to be fair, known as soon as they lost that first player, they were at a disadvantage pushing onto the point, and really from there, they didn't deal with Roro at all on the Farah. So what you can't expect much out of that, can you?
Not really. And that's a good read from Blank, expecting the GOAT's composition again, and they have an answering composition. Sombra and the Farah to deal with it. Now it's Blank's turn to throw something into the mix here. Again, it'll be dive. Very good to see Blank really experimenting with the rosters that they're running. And I think playing to the strengths of the DPS players.
Check this out.
Just wondering what Blank is going to play here. Does this look good? I'm keen. I'm keen
It
for a
does.
bit of dive.
Yep. You've
Keen
got
to see
the
Roro and Tails go strong.
Nano Blade, which is so potent. You've got the 2 dive tanks. You've got Genji. What more could you want? Kura to boost them in. For Kraken, they've got Wuvo on the Soldier. Probably backed up by the damage boost of Leverett, but I'm not such a fan of that.
Ready to deal with any potential Farah who will not be seen, unfortunately, for Kraken.
Wuvo is a very, very tasty looking dive target here for
Yeah.
Blank. Doesn't really have any way to deal with the dive apart from running away.
Mate. Look at this, straight on top of the high ground. Wuvo throws down the heel. I don't know if it's going to be enough. They drop off, but now actually great work with the rockets. Going to find Roro. Nice little start.
Yeah, need to be timing those dives just a little bit better. Blank was a little bit uncoordinated. The Diva didn't follow right on time, nor was Roro quite there.
Oh, Nellery.
Nellery was left a little high and dry, but this has allowed Wuvo to build up his tactical visor in just about one fight. There'll be quite a few more where that came from here for Blank, but they've decided no more fun time. It's time to go, GOATs. We want to win here on Horizon Lunar Colony, secure ourselves our first win as well in Contenders Season 3. Remember, if they do get 3 rounds on the board, that is going to be the end of that for Kraken.
Yeah, 1:45 on the clock. Legabril sitting behind, jumps down right now, ready to go with that Primal Rage. Managed to get 25% of his ultimate charged up very, very quickly, and Kraken really looking quite strong here. Noel's going to lose the mech as well. That is definitely less than ideal. Legabril going to jump right on top. QVN almost ready to go with that EMP. You can see none of these ultimates being used right now by Kraken. 120 on the clock. Blank going to drop back. Probably 2 fights remaining if they all stay alive up here.
I wonder if Blank have given Kraken a little bit too much tempo right now. They've given them far too many ultimates. The game is definitely favoring Kraken right now, and in a minute, I don't know that you can actually bring that one back.
Look, Nano Tac Visor coming out here as well. Tongue down, Kura down. Wuvo looking very, very strong. We talked about how he was going to be a prime target. Unfortunately, no one from Blank has been able to take it to him.
It's no longer the dive composition for Blank, so he can actually play a little bit safer now, and be a little bit safer, I should say. He doesn't necessarily need to play any differently, but it's going to be much more difficult for Blank to actually catch up to him when he can shift around on that soldier. But Blank going to be boosted in. There's the EMP.
Oh, big EMP.
They need to die straight away here because they have time for one more fight if they do wipe.
Yeah, just going to try and leave Tails alive, I think, for a little bit. Finally picks Tails up.
That's unfortunate. This might actually be enough for Kraken to push us through to a draw.
Poor Noz going to go jump out onto the moon. See you later. 10 seconds on the clock, then final push coming out from Blank. Potentially the hole-in-one.
Well, somebody needs to touch the cap, and who is it going to be here for
3
Blank?
seconds, got to get onto the point. They will be successful, will get it into overtime. A very quick Graviton surge coming out from Blank. Roro goes down immediately, though, to Wuvo. Nellery doing what he can on the point, but will get picked up by Wuvo as well. Wuvo has done so well here with the Soldier. Attack Visor to clean this up. They only need to find that 1/3 of the point, Jordan, but I don't think it's going to happen.
It's not.
Look at that, both teams failing to capture point A the second time around. You do not see that very often.
Well, a stoic defense from Kraken will result in a draw, which still means that Kraken can't win the series because it's now 2-0 with 1 to play. But at least you didn't go down 4-0 in your first game of Contenders.
You didn't. So congratulations to Blank. They will pick up this match. Now they are 2-0 with only 1 map remaining. But look, that's that could be a little bit sore, to be honest, for Blank.
I think so, yeah.
They would have expected that they could have surely got that first point once again with almost 3 minutes on the clock. Yeah,
really what you would have wanted to see there from Blank is not giving so many ultimates over to Kraken early on. In that first push, they had the dive composition. It didn't really work out. You need to make that dive work, otherwise, at that point, on the defense, Kraken had just had so much to play with. They were able to cycle through their ultimates. One fight it was the EMP, one fight it was the Nano Visor, the next fight it was an Earth Shatter, etc., etc. And then you follow on, and inevitably, Blank couldn't actually catch up in terms of what I was talking about, that tempo. It was favoring Kraken so much in that defense that they were able to hold off for a couple of minutes. There just wasn't enough time to play with for for Blank to be able to have a couple of dry pushes, waste a couple of the ults of Kraken. In the end, a draw, it's still good enough for Blank. It's not really a big problem because they have won those first 2 rounds. They're not concerned about this at all. They're still going to win the series, but it does really mean that there's no perfect 4-0. To be fair, we did expect these teams to be, it's not necessarily evenly matched, but a little bit more evenly matched than, for example, Sydney Drop Bears and Mind Freak. So to be able to see a draw coming out there from Kraken, good signs from them.
It is,
not necessarily getting tilted. You know, you're down 2-0. It looks like you're facing potentially a loss there on Horizon Lunar Colony, but mental fortitude looking good for them there as they're able to hold off. And we'll see what they can do now on Escort. If they can bring this one back to a 2-1, more the better for Kraken.
Yeah, it'd actually be really good for them, to be perfectly honest. On the flip side for Blank, I don't know whether they're going to be like, oh, that's probably expected more than that, or we didn't size these guys up correctly. Did we misplay? Did they play well?
It's pretty important for everyone to be, at this point, thinking about the maps. You know, you'd be looking later on down the track, you'd be thinking, right now, look, oh, as long as we win, we're pretty happy. But once you get actually toward the end of the season, a lot of the time, we do see it come down to round differential, map differential, that kind of thing, head-to-heads, etc. Last season, in Group B, there was potential for a 3-way tie for the 3rd and 4th place. So that's something that I think that right now, especially for a team like Blank, and especially for a team like Kraken, that are in a pretty close group, especially with Athletico yet to play, see how they go. They need to be thinking about every single map as something that could potentially put them through into 3rd, put them through into 2nd, or wherever.
Well, that's it, right? When you get to the end of the season, you do not want to be versing the top 2 seeds from the opposing group.
No, you don't want to be versing Sydney Drop Bears.
Yeah, and if if there's going to be a bit of a fight here for 2nd place in this group, that's really where it can get quite tough. So, we're moving across to Dorado. It will be Escort. And it would mean that Kraken got to pick this one as well because the last one was a draw and because they lost the previous map. So for them, this is going to be their pick. I feel like they've kind of found themselves a little bit of momentum now. So if anything was going to be in their favor, it's going to be here on Dorado. They're going to be able to come through. They picked the map. They warmed up. They've proven that the Drop Bears, that Blank are not infallible. And, you know, anything is possible.
So they say, but Dorado is going to be a map where a dive composition is going to be definitely workable, and that has been the tendency of Blank Esports. That's what they've wanted to play so far. They will be starting off on the defense, though, but Roro with the Widowmaker was not really primarily the Widowmaker player for Kanga last season. That was Locust. Interesting to see how Roro is going to go here. That's, I guess, one of the failings of this DPS duo of Blank Esports is that neither were the Widowmaker player, so to speak. Tails wasn't because he had Carroll Koala for Legacy, and Roro had Locust. So someone's got to learn, and this time it's Roro's turn.
Well, Kraken going to lose 2 players quite quickly. Going to have to drop back and try this one again onto the payload. See what they can do up against Roro here with the scope on the Widowmaker. Even if not the core sniper, Jordan, that we talked about still. Suspect Roro going to be pretty good here. Going to do the damage.
All you have to do is point and click, right?
Yeah, easy peasy.
Well, so far not being able to make a connection. Kraken starting to really put some pressure on the marketplace now as they're pushing on forward. And this brawlier composition from Kraken is definitely paying off. We need to see picks from Blank, otherwise the war of attrition is going to favor Blank here with the extra heals that they do have. Roro under some pressure from the dive of the Winston, and the Diva will go down. A good start here for Kraken. Noz will trade back, but not enough.
Sometimes as well you can see these comps struggle with the high ground. Like getting that Winston on board in combination with the Diva can sort of help deal with that, particularly coming around that first corner here on Dorado. Graviton Surge going to come out here from Kraken. Not going to find anyone. Dench going to pop the trance as well. But Blank holding strong for now. Nellery using the Primal Rage, staying alive, and EMP available from Tails. Will deal with that sound barrier very, very quickly as well.
Yeah, I have no idea actually how Blank have managed to survive that long, even after losing those first 2 players so quickly, but Kraken gave them a little bit too much room. Blank have decided to take advantage of that with their EMP. They win the fight, push Kraken back. 2 minutes on the clock here. Roro has swapped off onto the Tracer, a bit more of a comfort pick, and already up to 70% of the Pulse Bomb. Might even get it off this clip against Legabrill and Crimson Wolf. It's definitely going to be one to watch now that Pulse Bomb is coming up, because that could in theory be a free kill. Speaking of free kills, Dench, I assume he must have 5-ball Tails there. Tails will drop very quickly indeed.
Yeah, not a bad pick at all. Self-destruct going to come out. Actually finds Legabrill. I wasn't so sure about that one, but great work coming out from Noz. Blank still holding a bit of an advantage here on defense. As I say that, Nellery going to go down to Dench. Legabrill and Crimson Wolf both with ultimates as well. Maybe this will be enough to get Kraken across the line here on point A.
I don't know about that. This Sombra and Tracer can be so annoying and so difficult to deal with because of the mobility and the escapes for both of them. Kraken can't find a way to get the kills, but then similarly, Blank aren't actually finding any kills right now. Grav is out from Kraken, pulls everyone off the cart. Tails is still there, but the payload does go through and the cap is secured.
Nice work. Well done. Took Kraken a while, but they did get there in the end. Going to move through with 3 minutes, 15 seconds on the clock, heading towards point B of the second phase here on Dorado. A map that Kraken have picked. I thought maybe Blank were going to come through and show us that, you know, that last map, that draw was just a blip on the radar. But maybe Kraken can do something about this. Tails does pop that EMP. Crimson Wolf going to get demeched by Roro and the Pulse Bomb as well. You can see that Dench has gone out and thrown the trance through. Whether it's going to be enough to get the team across the line, get this payload moving, is a different story. Blank going to come back across right now. Kura going to throw out the sound barrier and the self-destruct here from Noz. Who are we going to find? The answer is no one.
No one indeed. Wubo putting in a lot of work right now. Still has the armor from the rally. And that's what Blank are really trying to jump through right now, but they just can't deal with it. Graviton Surge now out here. And that is going to be Wubo's. Not really necessary at that point, I don't think, but doesn't really connect too much anyway. Still, the fight is going to be won for Kraken. And the payload on its merry way toward point B.
Yeah, Wubo, who was at one point there at 100% energy, so a very powered up Zarya, to be sure. We'll see what they can do as they push through across to point B. Crimson Wolf does have the self-destruct available, but that is all that Kraken have to work with. To be fair, Blank don't have anything at all. Self-destruct comes through. We'll find Nellery. Nellery, who again I think was going to go down anyway. Noz going to get demeched in just a second, doing what he can on the payload. The rest of the team going to push across. Noz picked up after the demech. Roro finds one, but it won't be enough. Wubo cleans him back. Tails getting pushed through as well, looking maybe to try and earn that EMP. Yep. Slowly but surely, not going to have to be enough though. Going to translocate back out, going to jump back in. But as you can see, very quickly picked up there by QVN. 2:50 on the clock. They're pushing towards point C right now. Not looking that bad, to be fair. Kraken doing a decent job. Indeed,
quite a bit of momentum in the favour of Kraken at this point. Roro has decided to go back onto the Xayah, but a very late switch does mean a little questionable as to whether or not he is going to be able to get a grab out and get that effectiveness out of the Xayah here before the push actually is completed for Kraken. EMP available for Tails. It'll be a big one.
It is a big EMP indeed. Translocates out, lets the rest of the team push on through. Roro really does not have much energy to work with. Tails going to find Crimson Wolf. The mech goes down. Noz cleans it up. Up to 40% is Roro as well on the grab surge. Not going to be able to use it just yet. Legabriel, one of the last players remaining here for Kraken, going to hold to his ultimate, probably the right move. Now with 2 minutes on the clock, Blank will manage to settle this down, get themselves back, be able to get that front line ready.
Roro again is pushing forward to try and look for damage here, to try and build that Graviton Surge up before the next fight does come across. Wuvo threw his out in the last and didn't have too much effectiveness with it. The Blank Esports players were covered off by the wall, quite safe indeed, but Roro now up to 73%. Nellery causing a ruckus in the middle of the Kraken roster will force out the beat drop.
Yeah, 2 ultimates coming out here from Kraken right now. One from Legabriel, one from Leverett. QVN about to go down, so the Brigitte is out of this fight. Roro does have the Graviton Surge available as well. This time as well, up to 90% energy. Will not probably even need it. Going to chase the rest of the team back. Holding on to all of these ultimates is Blank. So now with 1:10 on the clock, only 1, maybe 2 pushes remaining here for Kraken. Blank are looking in prime position.
Momentum has definitely shifted back in the favour of Blank. Kraken going to make the change of Legabriel going on to the Reinhardt. Try to provide an extra bit of defense for his teammates. Dench will certainly appreciate that being on the Zenyatta, but is Legabriel going to be able to do anything?
EMP from Tails, that'll make life very, very difficult, and all of Kraken get destroyed. Only Crimson Wolf remains, so to be fair, does not want to remain because they need to get back in as a team comp with 40 seconds on the clock for their final fight.
Yeah, what do they have left to play with here, though? It's a Transcendence and a Self-Destruct. Certainly more there for Blank Esports, as not only do they have those 2 ultimates, but a Primal Rage and a Beat Drop available here. Blank Esports are going to have so much survivability here. So unless Crimson Wolf pops a few with that Self-Destruct, gets a perfectly placed insta-kill, I don't see Kraken being able to punch through the extra health that Blank are going to be able to have in this round.
Self-Destruct over the top, finds Dench. See ya later. Legabriel doing what he can. Kura goes down to him. The charge coming out, not half bad, but it probably will not be enough. Noz is low, Tails is low. Tails goes down to QVN. On the point, they're trying to hold it out. Kraken looking okay. QVN's actually found both the mech now. Oh, there's 3 tanks going down to the Brigitte.
None of the support ults, apart from Leverett, actually getting used in that fight. So Blank Esports, they're going to come back into this one, but Kraken still have to deal with a couple of those big support ultis. This time, however, they do have Wuvo with the Graviton Surge. He's being very sneaky.
And it's all down to Noz here potentially. Maybe Tung can save it as well. Not going to be the case. Throws out that Trance, going to try and keep everyone alive. To be fair, does a half-decent job. Tails is low, trying to stay alive. 92% for that EMP as well. Roro up 90%, trying to stay alive is he. But Nellery, the one looking low. Noz looking low. Kraken doing a great job. Oh, man.
They were just being pushed into the spawn there. Legabriel, literally a wall. The Reinhardt pushing them away. The payload pushes very, very quickly indeed. 3 points capped out. And by Kraken, but Blank, they will have an attempt here to try and put a bit of extra time on the board for themselves. In overtime, the cap there from Kraken. So it's good, but it's not great.
So odd to see so many players alive for blank there, but none of them on the payload. Kraken doing such a good job of forcing them off, just zoning them out, and allowing that payload to get across the line. Even if it was in overtime, considering again how they started on point A, Jordan, you have to say Kraken finished that one pretty strongly.
They did. They did. Able to get quite a bit of momentum in the middle phase of the map as well into point B. They really didn't get stalled at all. Blank again are going to give Roro a chance with the Widowmaker. Don't think he had too much of an impact at all on the defense to start off with for Blank. But I don't know how long he'll actually sit on the Widow. If things aren't working, there are a lot of other options. The Doomfist, the Genji. We've already seen out from him. Genji in particular was looking quite solid. Pharah probably not the option here for Blank. Both teams running very similar compositions. Wuvo, however, is on to Genji as opposed to the Widowmaker. So a little bit more dive potential for Kraken. They'll want to really try and force the issue onto Blank before Roro has too much time to work with on the Widow. Give him the opportunities. Inevitably, he is going to hit ahead.
Just a reminder, Kraken really struggled on point A. Blank were almost able to pick them up. Tail's going to be the first one going down, so Kraken starting off a little bit stronger here on defense. And now with Kura picked up as well, Blank, you're going to have to drop back and regroup. Try this one again. A few free seconds there off the clock, scraped off there by Kraken. Nicely done. Oh, Roro.
Not going to be able to spot the Genji. Knows where he is. All it takes is one headshot here from Roro to open things up.
Close. Not this instant. QBN, though, going to be the one finding the kills. Again, doing great work here on defense. Roro does now at least have the high ground here with the Widowmaker, trying to find at least one pick. Does take a little bit longer for the defensive team to get back, so if Roro can find a pick, it will give them a little bit more time, a little bit of an opportunity to get this payload just that further bit forward. Already over halfway through point A, but it's Wuvo sitting on the payload, trying to chase Roro down. Not going to be successful for now. Should be able to clean it up here, surely. No, staying alive, nice heals. There's actually Wuvo, who's caught out by Nellery.
Yeah, diving a little bit too far without the backup of his teammate.
Baited and outsmarted Elfishguy.
Baited indeed. Nellery here with the nano boost.
Yeah. That's what you want, not even needing to use the Primal Rage in combination with that. And Blank have managed to get this payload on a roll, pushing towards point A, doing so quite quickly, actually. 2:15 on the clock. It's going to get across. Kraken will do what they can. Tail's actually going to end up using that EMP. That should be enough to get them across the line.
Yeah, I think he just wants to ensure that this is going to go the way of Blank. It was pretty close to their fight one anyway, but he's really used it as an insurance. There's, 1 centimeter there for Blank to actually push on, but they do get the job done inevitably. 4 minutes, just above 4 minutes here to play with heading into point B. Already Blank Esports pushing on forward, taking control of the high ground, allowing Roro some positioning to work his magic. So far, hasn't been too magical.
No, QBN heading across to a Widow of his own. We'll see whether that plays out the way that he'd like it to. Going to get forced back off the high ground. Blank actually getting quite a long way forward here, Jordan. See whether they can make the most of it or not. Everyone still alive forward now. A lot of ultimates on both teams, but it's the Dragon Blade that's going to come out here from Wuvo. He's trying to chase them down. Not finding any kills so far, down to 100 HP. Does get healed up, but does not find any kills. Self-destruct coming out from Blank. Nellery finds one. Noz finds another. Well, to be fair, it's the same, but they'll take it, I suppose.
Was a very nice beat drop from Kura to keep his team alive. Perfect timing. As soon as Genji starts screaming like a maniac, you want to drop that beat down, and everyone should be okay as a result. Roro having a little bit of a backwards and forwards here with QVN, but inevitably it will be Nellery and Tails to finish what he started. Payload continues to push on forward here for Blank. Kraken haven't done enough to stall them just yet. Another EMP available for Tails. Press Q to win the team fight here for Blank.
Yeah. That's what we like to see, at least if you're a Blank fan or a Tails fan or maybe a Sombra fan. Any of those will go, I suppose. Up on top, you can hear the beat is dropping as Elfishguy will say the sound barrier comes out. QVN going to go down to Roro. Roro finds a second. Nice work. We both found out as well. Point B going to be taken with the payload by Blank. Easily done. We're going to move into the third and final phase with a ton of time on the clock, Jordan.
Yeah, very nice stuff there from Tails. Getting the hack onto Genji. And it was finished off by the Bionade of Tongue. Pushing on forward as Uvo will get staggered just a little bit. 3 minutes 44, the advantage right now for Blank, but that is slowly ticking away. They would love to finish this with a little bit on the board, just to give themselves that extra time in the bank to deal with what Kraken would pose.
Going to push through. Roro with the infra sight. We'll see how useful that will be. Kura almost has the sound barrier once again. Crimson Wolf just holding back right now with the self-destruct as well. Legabriel going to get slept, trying to get onto the high ground. Going to cause him a little bit of damage, I suppose, but it will manage to get out of dodge. This time goes up for a second shot. Torf looking low. Going to stay alive at least for now. Tongue doing okay.
Well, both the healers there were pushed out of the fight by Legabriel, and that's where Kraken are starting to find their advantage right now. They don't have that Brigitte to offer a little bit of extra healing as well on the side of Blank. Rose decided enough Widowmaker. When you do get to this part of the map, the Widow does become a little bit less effective. So we're going to be straight back onto Doomfist, trying to find some picks that way. But he's definitely playing a very pick-oriented style as opposed to what we saw more so from Drop Bears and Mind Freak, which was the GOATS comp, the team-based composition. This is a little bit more individualistic, at least from Roro. He's trying to find the picks on his own. So far, not having too much luck. Tails with the EMP, though. That might be the difference.
Yeah, it could be enough here. Roro, you can see right now on the Doofus looking to find a pick, but it's Tails who's found two. Roro will find QVN. Tongue, D-Max, Crimson Wolf, Kura finishes him off. And, well, Blake looking very strong. Kura. 2 minutes on the clock, mate. Look at this. Easy. So good. Playing some sick beats.
Picks up 3 kills. I guess Frogger's not in this season of Contenders, but still is there.
In spirit, maybe? Yeah.
Roro looking to find the Ana. Oh, the beat drop just in time. Does keep Dench alive.
But not in the battle, at least not this time around. Roro going to go down to Wuvo. Kraken doing what they can here on defense. Of course, with that huge spawn advantage, they are going to make the most of it. What they're looking for here, one would suggest, is at least holding this in to overtime. That would be their hope, surely. Whether they can hold it full stop is a different story.
Yeah, definitely. A minute and a half left here for Blank, and they have now defaulted back to the GOATs. Tails and the EMP are not doing enough work. Roro the same. So they've gone on to Zaya and Brigitte respectively. Gabriel maybe caught out a little bit here, but does seem to be okay for now. Dancing away.
Blank going to knock all of Kraken off that high ground back onto the point, and Wuvo going to go down to Kura again. Self-destruct into the Graviton Surge. Leverett finding Kura. Tongue goes down as well. Blank looking not so good in this situation. Kraken doing what they can. 50 seconds on the clock. They're going to win another fight, and every second that goes by, as Jordan, you go, surely Kraken can hold this out at least until overtime. Yeah, well, there is only going to be one more fight now for Blank. You can't run back from the spawn in the time that they would have if they lost this fight. It's a very, very long run, actually, towards the final point of Dorado. At this stage for Blank Esports, you can see it's already taken them, you know, like 20 seconds almost to get to this point as is. So it is definitely going to be a fight in overtime. There's no questions about that one. Whether or not Kraken can hold on, though, that is the real question. Primal Rage, key here from Legabriel as he throws it out straight away. 13 seconds on the clock. QVN going to pop the rally as well. Kraken doing what they can here on defense, as you said, Jordan. Legabriel getting up into the high ground, using that primal range, but it's all gone now. Blank, look at all the ultimates they have. Kraken only have Leverett, only have the sound barrier, Jordan. I don't know if it's going to be enough. They at least have the spawn advantage. Roro, Nellery, Tails all using ultimates. Noz as well, Kura as well. They found two. Leverett down, QVN down. The payload isn't moving as quickly as they need it to now. We're going to get a bit of a wriggle on. Kraken going to come back in. Throws out the Graviton Surge, slows it down. Nellery picked up, Tails pushing through. Blank doing pretty good job here of zoning. Crimson Wolf looking low, going to get demec'd onto the payload. Roro going to find that kill. Tongue is down in the back line as well. Tails doing a good job. Blank actually looking okay here, Jordan. Are they going to be able to get
I don't
this
know. They're not
across the
putting
line?
enough pressure on Dench right now. He's been having free shots into the back of the entire blank roster, and every single kill that goes 1 for 1 is favorable for Kraken. Nos, though, with the self-destruct, that's big.
Wrecking
Tongue swapping
Ball.
off onto the Wrecking Ball just to get back into the fight quicker and quicker. Wuvo's there as well, but that might be that. I don't know if anyone else can touch right now for blank. And it was rather for Kraken, and in the end, they are going to push it through in overtime. Certainly took them a little bit longer than what it did for Kraken, but at the end of the day, it is going to be the same score on the scoreboard. So we'll reset 1 minute apiece.
1 minute is not very long, Jordan.
No.
If we see
Can be though.
Kraken do what they did on their first attempt on attack.
If you sit on that cart in overtime, 1 minute can be
Forever. Well, not forever. Forever until you get to the end of the map.
Forever until the day we die.
I guess it could technically be forever, right? Because
You
could
could
just be
literally,
infinite overtime.
yeah, you could have someone contesting the whole time.
It does get pretty quick towards the end. It's like playing musical chairs, right? Where the music speeds up as you go around, and it gets more. Does the music speed up?
I don't know,
Am I
mate.
making
You're the
that
one
up?
that probably attends
I haven't
children's birthday parties more often than I do.
I haven't played musical chairs in probably 28 years.
Wow.
Is that a long time?
I'm not going to comment. It would just hurt your feelings.
Look, what I do want to talk about, though, is how much Kraken have been able to close the gap with blank across the last couple of maps.
Yeah.
Now, what we saw at the start in Busan, it was like, oh, maybe there's, maybe Kraken have something here, but then they struggled. They struggled on map 2.
I don't know, man. I think blank is kind of just experimenting a little bit with their team compositions here. Maybe a little bit too much. Look at this, though, from blank. What on earth is going on here?
Yeah, well, going to see what they can do here on defense is blank, but it's Tongue and Tails both going down very quickly.
Then
And Kraken doing not a half bad job to get onto the payload right now, Jordan. They can pick up Nos, if they can pick up this Diva. Roro goes down as well. Kraken will be able to get onto the payload, will be able to get it moving. That's not a bad start.
Yeah, a little bit cheeky there from blank. It kind of does stall the payload, even in essence, despite the fact that they lost that fight. They do buy themselves 30 seconds or so. They'll be able to get back and have a contest here before that final point. So instead of having one attempt at a fight there for blank, they kind of get 2 attempts now. That said, they have played a lot of ultimate charge over to people like QVN and Legabrill. Probably see Rally coming up here. Same with Primal Rage. Nellery does have quite a bit here as well as self-destruct available almost for Nos. This could be the final fight, and this is the one that blank wants to hold.
Oh man, Nellery goes down straight away. Nos at least brings one back with the self-destruct. Tongue not doing half bad either, to be perfectly honest. Rally going to come out from QVN, trying to do what they can to keep this payload moving very, very close to point A. Wuvo goes down to Roro. And I don't know, blank might be able to hold here, Elfishguy.
Oh, there is a Transcendence coming out from Dench as well. He's built that one up pretty quick. Roro, though, with the Graviton Surge is what you want to watch right now. He throws it out, and that's going to catch all of Kraken.
Yeah.
And there it is. Blank will hold. That is not too
payload.
far of a push from Kraken, to be honest.
Definitely winnable, though, with only a minute to work with.
It is winnable for both sides at this point. 75 meters.
This is probably the most exciting day one game that we've had of Contenders.
Probably. Considering, I would say probably all of the other day one games have been a 4-0 thus far.
Yeah. Well, this is great.
Contender Season 1 and Season 2 were very, very one-sided.
I told you, we got the Lego, we smashed it up, and what we built, Jordan, is actually very exciting. Who would have thought?
Let's see what Blank can do here. What are Blank going to do? What kind of a roster do they want to run? Tails seems to be very keen on the Sombra.
Oh, see, I would like to see the Pharah come out, to be honest, whether we will or not.
Maybe not against the Sombra and a Genji on this kind of point, because there is a lot of elevation for those two to play with. Typically, the way that Pharah works, of course, as you would know, is that you want to be up high, you want to be out of reach for the majority of characters, only the hit scan really being able to do any considerable damage to you. But the fact that there's so much high ground for, in particular, QVN to play with if he is going to be on the Sombra means that hacks are going to be quite easy to get onto Roro. As soon as you're hacked, you can't be flying around in the air, and then your effectiveness is very much decreased. Same can be said for Wuvo. Much easier to dash into position from the high ground instead of having to really climb up walls and that kind of thing. So this could be a little disastrous for Roro if he doesn't position himself correctly.
Let's see what he can do. Tails just lurking, holding, waiting. They're going to try and take the high ground as Blank. Kraken might get forced off. Legabril low. Crimson will blow as well. Tails going to be the first one to go down to Wubo. So all the other things that happened, it doesn't matter because, well, Tails going to get picked back up again by Kura. So no resurrection available right now, but the payload continues to move. Well,
those direct hit rockets, man, they do a lot of damage now.
Yeah. So Wubo down to Roro. The Pharaoh with free reign over the top. This high ground certainly less useful right now for Kraken when they're forced all the way back. You can see the damage that Roro can do. The rocket barrage will be available shortly as well. Legabril trying to get onto the payload. Leverett going to go down to Tails. Oh! Roro finds all 100% of Legabril's huge HP pool right there. So
rocket barrage here as well, just to be the cherry on top if Blank need it, but it doesn't look like that is going to be required. The war of attrition favoring them, a little bit of extra thanks because of the spawns, and it's going to be a 3-0 today for Blank Esports as Kraken were able to get the draw on Horizon Lunar Colony, but not so there on Dorado.
No, not the case, but Jordan, it was a close match. It was an exciting match. I love to see us go into overtime a couple of times there as well. So I think, to be fair, when we're talking about this Kraken lineup, that was actually a pretty good showing for them for their first ever Contenders match. Yeah,
definitely. When you consider the amount of infrastructure that Blank Esports do have in comparison to Kraken, who obviously have just come into this new org. Blank is a team that has a gaming house. I mean, this is a team with a couple of very experienced players in Kura and Tung who were over in Contender Specific for Season 1 and Season 2 and were a part of the Blank roster beforehand even. So this Blank roster, in theory, should be quite strong. And a pretty good showing from them today, but like you said, Kraken able to contest with them just a little bit, being able to keep things relatively close, does, you know, at least put something in the court of Kraken there. You know, the ball's a little bit in their court saying, hey, you've done okay.
And if you're wondering what that replay was about to be, it was going to be the Reinhardt coming around the corner with the giant Earth Shadow go, boom, hammered down, and then everyone falling down.
Yeah, we might see that in a little bit, Ben. But the 3-0 for Blank Esports today. Kraken would have loved to get one on the board at least to help their map win-loss. I mean, to be honest, 0 doesn't really help you all that much in that department. It more so hinders Blank than anything else.
Yeah.
Maybe that could play a part later on down the track.
It was closer, though, than I feel maybe the scoreboard dictates or indicates. But at the same time, I can't help but feel that, you know, it's one of those things where you go, well, maybe Blank really were just in control and they felt like maybe, as you said, they were just trying a few things out, just trying to, you know, get the ball rolling. I guess the flip side of that is Kraken playing together for the team as a team for the first time.
I'll be very interested to see how the strategies of Blank develop throughout this season, because it was a very big departure from what we saw from, for example, Sydney Drop Bears, who would be considered the best team in the region. They were very, very much on the side of goats the whole time. I don't think they really swapped off it at all. Where Blank Esports, they did quite a bit, and I think it could have done them a little bit of a disservice in making the job a little bit more difficult. If that's how they want to run, then fine, but you're going to need to be aware that you're going up against what is generally considered the best composition in the current meta 9 times out of 10, and it's tough to beat.
There's a lot on the line here in Contenders, Jordan. None more so than the McDonalds Australia play of the game. And this one, it's going to be a cracker. We saw a bit of a hint of it earlier. I sort of mimed it out for you, but it's Legabril on the Reinhardt with a huge Earth Shatter.
Yeah, I think there may have even been a shield bash in there from QVN. I don't know if he actually connected onto Nellery. We'll see here in the slow-mo. But you can see him just on the left of the screen.
Oh, it was. That was a double team.
Yeah, perfect timing in the end there. So not only Legabril being able to get the Earth Shatter, but the timing from QVN, the timing as a team there from Kraken, very, very impressive.
Yeah, split second. And very, very impressive, as you said, Elfishguy. I was very happy with that one. I love it. That's why it's our McDonalds Australia play of the game. Nice work. I want to give that to both, and they can chop the cheeseburger in half.
Yeah, you get half the Big Mac and you kind of share, and hopefully everyone gets a bit of a happy meal as well. So then everyone's happy, I guess. At this point, I'm sure if you're Blank, you're pretty happy. A 3-0. Obviously not ideal, it's not the 4-0, but you've still got to win on the board in your first match of Contenders. Off to a good start.
Well, Elfishguy, we are 2/3 of the way through today's broadcast. Coming up next, it is Legacy Esports up against Atletico. We'll see you soon.